Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, double honors, the and apostles of Great Millstone, who are teaching the truth and sincerity. And shout out to your Akims out there in the four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. Braka the Yahweh, Braka the Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Brakatum. So, out here another week prophesying the downfall of Babylon the Great, America in the scriptures, and the many other names, daughter Babylon, etc. But nonetheless, though, we are seeing that things are about to make change, right? You know, because I've been noticing that, of course, older videos, of course, have been taken down under the medical misinformation policy, right? You know, yeah, the older ones before, you know, the newer algorithms and all that. But for the most part, I've been able to keep videos on the YouTube platform. Well, it has been announced, breaking news, because I got this from Apostle Dahar straight out, that Elon Musk is buying YouTube. Now that Apostle Tahar had already put out that video that Elon Musk is buying YouTube now. What's going on in the world, as you know, in the UK and in France, they're arresting people just for the very things that they speak. You know, so that's the beginning of a famine of the word. And X is, which is the other thing that Elon Musk had bought, is something else that is censored in France. As well as Rumble. Rumble's also getting censored in France. You know, they don't allow the Rumble platform. And over here in Babylon, TikTok is about to be banned very soon. So they're looking to ban TikTok as well. You know, so when Elon Musk takes over YouTube, how much more? You can see that a famine of words right around the corner. And like Apostle Dahar says, we'll find out whether he likes the Israelites or he does not. You know, and what happens and what comes of that. You know, but pretty much so. It all says, you know, and this is just from the way that I'm perceiving it, is that just like with X, you know, you can pretty much say what you want to say. You know, you can speak against the war on Palestine. Now, he did cave in a little bit about it, but for the most part, you can also speak about what you feel about the Zionist entity invading Palestine, which that's the bigger issue of subjects that go around on X. You know, but he did cave in a little bit, right, about so-called anti-Semitic speech and etc. So he'll be compromised, but not as bad as YouTube has been compromised now, especially over the last few years, right? Ever since the 2020 hoax, right? You know, it's been really, and they changed the policies in 2019, at the very end of 2019. You know, December 2nd, that was a big one when YouTube was going to change their algorithms on what they allowed on their platform. So I think that some changes will be coming very soon. But that also tells you that, you know, eventually this is going to be banned, right? You know, they are going to ban the word, right? You know, we'll find out what he thinks about us first. But then I'm thinking that, yeah, it will be pretty much allowed on the forum and all that. So I'm pretty sure there are some brothers out there that do have X channels as well, you know, to look up information. I believe Eldest Khan has one of those, you know, because he likes to look up articles on X. So I'm pretty sure that we'll be allowed to post on YouTube under Elon Musk. But for how long, though? How long will the platform actually go out to the World Wide Web, right? When they've already banned Rumble in France, right? You know, and, you know, I'm sure there's other countries as well where Rumble or Odysee might be banned. You know, because again, you know, and of course, you know, BitChute had to change their whole area there because PayPal froze their assets for a long time. So, you know, of course, you know, like everything else, though, we know that this is all the beginning of the famine of the word, meaning that we won't be at this much longer because look at everything that's in place, right? The MOTB is impending. It's right around the corner. You know, bank bail-ins, all these so-called glitches that they're testing things, these beta tests that they're running, you know, bank accounts being compromised, people trying to go and withdraw their money like Silicon Bank and then they're just not able to, and then the central bank digital currencies taken over. You know, that's all going to lead to the impending MOTB because eventually, yeah, the government is no longer going to be sending you a check. You're going to have to receive it digitally. They're going to have a digital dollar for your checks, you know, especially those of you that are on disability, you know, which include myself, that are on disability that receive a check, you know, it's going to be received digitally, and then they'll have totally control because it'll be under the crypto, which eventually is going to be replaced by the MOTB, because those prophecies have to come to pass before World War III breaks out. Now, it's a no-brainer to know that Ukraine is already deliberately targeting nuclear power plants, planning to set off a dirty bomb. We've talked about that before. That they're talking about setting off a dirty bomb and then blaming Russia for it because they're desperate now because they're not going to get any fundings by the next president, whether it be Harris or it be Trump. They're just not going to get any more funding. Now, it's looking more like a Trump win, but, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised either if there is a Madam President, right? And it happens to be Harris. Either way, though, Babylon the Great still has a death date nonetheless, though. So they're going to try to get all their policies to go through. It doesn't matter which side. They're still going to get dragged into this war, better known as the Armageddon War, which means the mountain of troops, which is there in that valley. Because like everything else, though, Hezbollah has made their responses for the assassinations carried out in Beirut. But Tehran has not made any responses. They said publicly that when they do, it'll be well known. It's going to be much different than it was when they retaliated for the Damascus embassy being bombed by the Israeli state. And in Turkey, of course, they had just recently arrested a couple Mossad agents over there. So definitely goes to show, though, that even Turkey is turning on Mossad, turning against ISIS, which are the sleeper cells that are there, turning against all their terror units, because ISIS is just really Israeli secret intelligence services, which is another term for Mossad, so they're turning against them, because again, Magog is going to be a guard unto all those places, so the least the flock Amalek, which already is pulling Babylon the Great into the war, because like everything else, though, that Gaza bridge, well, that didn't really work too well because it just kind of sank in the ocean anyways. But, of course they're going to have U.S. Troops in Gaza, and that's going to become more publicly known. I mean, they already do have troops in Gaza. They have troops, U.S. troops in other areas as well over there. Because, again, why does the Israeli state have all this unlimited power? Because, of course, they use Babylon the Great, and that's who's going to get pulled into it, right? The least the flock drawing them in, which, of course, Babylon the Great will always stand by the Israeli state, and we already know how much Amalek controls everything, Soros, etc., that Amalek has its face everywhere. Now, some of them have died, like Kissinger has died, and, so their New World Order plans, well, they really want to get this carried out within the short time, right? And they're talking about 2025 possibly being the year, right? And we deem this year, 2024, as a hopeful year, all prophecy come to pass, right? So how much more, right? But they're saying that, Klaus Schwab has been given a clue that he wants everything to happen in 2025. There's going to be major events happening in 2025. Well, that's when you'll have the new sworn-in president, right? And they may pull off another January 6th hoax, under the presidency, and I've said it before, that expect there to be more racial slurs from Donald Trump against Harris, and for people to get caught in the middle of that, because of course, man, we know that Trump is proud, he speaks for Esau, he's a very proud man, neither keepeth at home who enlarges his desire as hell. Yeah, that describes Esau, doesn't it? And Trump has that very proud, stout face, right? He's that charismatic leader, right? And the enough is enough Illuminati card was already played. A bullet barely missed him, but it was all part of the cards anyways, to raise up this charismatic leader. So it's really looking like a Trump victory will happen, And it's a possibility that Biden may resign and making Harris the president, before, the end of terms, before there's even a, president-elect, because he's already dropped out of the presidential race. But all these other things are coming up, especially with his son being indicted, right? So eventually, what's going to happen there. And they're really going to prompt Harris up. But it's a possibility that Harris will lose and Trump will win again, you know. But that's neither here nor there, because, see, this is not an arrest. See, a lot of Jake's going to get caught in the middle of that. They're going to go vote for Harris. Of course they will, you know, because, oh, she's black, you know, she's powerful. Even though you find out, though, that she's married to an Amalekite, but that never bothered Jake very much, right? You know. You know, not when it comes down to this, right? You know, because she'll speak good things. I mean, they all speak good things, right? I mean, people get consumed by this, you know, especially our people, man. They get consumed by Esau's lies, you know, that he's going to do all these great things, that he's going to pay reparations, right? You think that a check is really paying reparations for everything that he's done to us? You know, are you fucking kidding me? You know, that's kind of like somebody, you know, ruins the tires. You spend $500 on the tires, and they offer you $10 to pitch in for the tires, you know. Speaking from experience, but that's kind of what Esau's trying to do by these checks, right? You know, these referendums. He can't pay us back. That's the whole thing, though. You know, because he would have to give up everything that's his, you know, which is not his, it's ours anyways, you know. But to see the Most High is going to recompense him. We just got to be patiently waiting upon him. That's why we go out here and teach diligently, right? Well, there's still time, but a lot of things are going to change very soon, right? You know, so for a while. I look at it as the last ride, you know, with Elon Musk buying YouTube, you know, that, yeah, sure. There's not going to be as much censorship on that, and the word's going to go out. And then once that happens, then, yeah, eventually all countries are going to ban YouTube, just like, you know, what's been happening with X and Rumble and some of these other platforms. You know, eventually it's going to be banned, because you already heard about a TikTok ban over here, right? You know, because supposedly the Chinese are trying to influence the election, or some other shit about China, you know. And, you know, Iran's supposed to interfere with the elections, that Iran is behind the assassination attempt. Iran, you know, and Russia as well, you know, because Russia's doing all this, right? Because I guess, you know, they're going after RT again, right? Because they're supposed to be interfering in the election, you know. So much bullshit, you know, but I think that a good portion of the people, it's like, who gives a fuck? You know, it's not like their vote really fucking counted. I think that's been made quite honest, that the elections are rigged, you know. Now, I've known for a long time that the elections are rigged, right? You can't tell me that even with Obama, you know, with all the popular entertainers that he had with him, wasn't bringing in the crowds like Romney was. You know, Romney didn't even have as many popular groups. I think the most popular group that Romney had on his side was the Oak Ridge Boys, but yet he was drawing in crowds, and people, I believe that they actually voted Romney in 2012. I don't think for one second that what they showed you on the polls, that Barack Hussein Obama had really won. You know, especially with the Benghazi scandal coming out, because Fox News aired that almost every day during the whole time that Obama was running for re-election, especially towards the very end there. You know, Sean Hannity, all of them were running the story about Benghazi. You know, and that you know, those that he lied to the people, saying that it was a YouTube video. Oh yeah, YouTube came up, right? Saying it was a YouTube video that caused you know, the ambassador to get killed. But like everything else, though, that was all coming out. So there was no way that Obama won re-election. But yet in August, he was already projected the winner, because they showed you on the screens that in Arizona, it showed you the projected winner because there was a glitch. And it revealed that Obama won the election, you know. And that was in August, before the election, before the votes were even there, showing you that they don't count the votes, that they never did, that the vote doesn't even matter. And a lot of people can see that for what it is. And a lot of people don't, you know. Nonetheless, though, what is happening, though, is they're finding out the so-called American dream is over. You know, you're having to work 2 or 3 jobs just to keep things on, just to keep the lights on, because inflation has gone way past through the roof. I mean, we're entering into hyperinflation, you know, where it just... the things that were supposed to be efficiency and all that, yeah, you're finding out that the electric cars, well, that's costing you a lot more on your energy, because you have to plug it in and charge it, and plus you have to wait forever for it to charge. Well, only the rich cocksuckers even have electric cars. Most people didn't buy the electric cars, you know. I mean, I'll admit that there's more electric cars now than there was before, but, yeah, a lot of people that know something about the electric cars will never get an electric car. I know I'm not getting an electric car. Hybrid is about as close as I would get if I had money. I mean, you have to have money for those things, right? You know, you have to be pulling in income. I mean, even with the job that I have, I'm not, you know, and that's not a forever thing anyways. None of this is forever. You know, people get so secure in their jobs, though, that they think that this is a forever thing. No, that can run out any day. Any day you could get fired, you could get let go of. You know, and there's so many people that are trying to get insurance claims, right, that will deliberately get behind you while you're backing up. I had that happen to me recently. Somebody deliberately got behind me while I was backing up, so of course I hit them, and they got the claim. And who's at fault, right? But you'll be the victim of that too. You know, because that's what people are doing. People have gotten desperate because of the fact that there is no economy anymore. So they're just desperate to make the claims, and they don't fix their car. They just take the claim money, you know, to get out of it, or to just go get the other things. Maybe even to just stay where they're at for another month or so, right? I mean, that's what it's all come down to. Because, you know, I can talk about shitholes, and I can say $9.85 a month for a 2-bedroom is not as bad as what others pay, especially if we start talking about San Francisco or Sacramento, how expensive it is to live there. But, you know, there's some people paying well over $1,200 just for a little studio, which ain't shit, you know. Everything has been hijacked, you know. And, yeah, your dollar doesn't buy very much. So eventually, though, you know, they're going to shut all this down, because you already know that the food supplies they're deliberately going after, you know. And like everything else, though, you know, when we can no longer teach the word, you know, and that, you know, pretty much it's all shut down, well, you know that all hell is going to break loose. And that's not too far from now, you know, with all the moves that you're seeing people being arrested just for very little things that they posted. You know, over there in the UK, you know, people are getting arrested in their homes. You even had some people detained over here, you know, for things that they had posted or talked about, you know. So how much more will they come after us? So you see, a famine of the word is coming. It's right around the corner. So I'm going to go ahead and read that, get that out of Amos chapter 8, because we go into this quite a bit. I mean, we know that these days are coming. You know, so I kind of look at it as a last run. When Elon Musk buys YouTube, it's a last run. And then eventually they're going to shut all that down. They're going to shut down the entire internet anyways. Amos chapter 8 and verse 9. It shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will cause the sun to go down, and no one, and I will darken the earth in the clear day. Well, what's that talking about? Well, that's talking about when, you know, pretty much that, you know, everything is sorrowful, right? You know, a day of mourning. Well, people are beginning to start to feel those woes, but it's going to get worse. I will turn your feasts into mourning, and all your songs unto lamentation. I will bring up sackcloth upon all loins, and baldness upon every head, and I will make it as the mourning of an only son, and the end thereof as a bitter day. You know? So like everything else, though, you know, these people are going to be mourning. They're going to be in pain and suffering. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor of the thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh's Shai. You know, it's going to come that we won't be out here teaching anymore, because those are the only words that are comforting anyone. You know, because JC ain't going to save anyone. I mean, people claim that, but does it really help with the mournings that they're going through? No, most of them commit suicide. There's so many people in the 501c3 church, you know, that drank the Jesus juice that still committed suicide to begin with, because they couldn't handle, you know, what was really happening. These people are all doped up on fucking fentanyl, you know, that they can't handle real life's pressures. You know, they just can't go through it anymore. They just don't have the capacity. See, people's capacity is so dumbed down now that they just can't handle real stress when it hits them. I mean, if any of them were taking on half the shit that we Israelites take on, Esau wouldn't make it. He just won't make it, because Esau ain't never had it bad. You know, he's starting to get it bad, but he ain't had it bad like we have. See, we're so fucking used to it that, you know, being homeless or being broke, you know, every dollar we make just fucking going, and we're still working and all that. We're used to that shit. But these Edomites, man, they have lived deliciously for so long. But now they're starting to lament too. Because their system, their ways of being able to, bind everybody with that system, that fiat currency system, that's all about to be done away with. And they're going to replace it with a digital currency. But those that lived on top, that had plantations and all that, yeah, they're all suffering now. Yeah, that home, man, that home that's been in the family generation, well, they're losing it. They're losing it to the 1%, Amalek. See, Amalek, the 1%, is now just really tightening the grip on everything. And they're about to pull the plug on this whole thing, And so that chaos is going to be everywhere. That eventually, it'll take to the streets. Because if you take a look at what's going on in Tel Aviv, man, they're totally detesting Benjamin, not a Jew, over the fucking continuous war and the fact that the hostages are supposed to be rescued are getting killed. So they're detesting him. And I'm talking about the Amalekites. I'm not even talking about the Palestinians over there. But they're tired of him. They want to see Benjamin, not a Jew, ousted. A lot of people want to see their leaders ousted. Fuck Joe Biden has been the last 4 years. That's been the national anthem. That's the memo. Let's go, Brandon. It's been the memo over here. It's going to be very interesting whether Harris or Trump wins, because I'm pretty sure it'll just become fuck Donald Trump, fuck Harris, and it's going to get even worse, because you could expect it to get worse. Nothing ever gets better. It just gets worse. It's getting to the point that they can't just put that little tape on there, that little, duct tape they put on the pipes that are about to explode from the dam. You can't just keep on plastering duct tape on it. Eventually you're going to have to replace everything. Well, they do have plans for a replacement, but it's going to have to crash first, and then they're going to replace it with a new digital currency, a new digital wallet. That's going to be their solution. But everything's going to erupt for a while, and there's going to be civil war. There's going to be uprisings, uproars of the people worldwide. You think it's bad now? Well, the things that's going on in Tel Aviv and around the world, it's going to hit over here. And when it does, that's when you could say shit really hits the fan. I mean, shit's already hit the fan over there in the UK, man. They're detesting because, you got what they call illegals over there, right? Muslims, because there's a lot of this Islamophobia. You got illegal immigrants. Well, what do you think's been happening over here, right? Because that's all you hear about in the elections, these illegal immigrants, right? The Venezuelan gangs, all these gangs and shit. What do you think that's all about? Well, it's because, of course, man, sedition's about to happen, right? 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. We know we're close to the third woe that comes quickly, because all those armies are in place. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. What's that talking about? Uprisings, right? For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in the power. They're not going to care, because all hell is about to break loose. Man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, because the pride of their cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. It's not going to be safe anymore. You're not going to be able to walk around free anymore. Man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. The modern day sword is the gun. And spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. They see you have it, they're just going to take it from you. They're going to rob you in the most violent way. And the police ain't going to do anything about it, because the police are going to only be out for their survival. Hey, it's going to happen to everyone, and it's going to happen on a global scale, and that's all being done on purpose. Why do you think all that's happening? Why the borders are open, etc.? Because they plan to totally turn this into a, as you would say, martial law. Turn it into martial law, where pretty much, though, you no longer have control. The cities, the mayors, the police and all that, they won't have control, so the UN will come in. What do you think those Jade Helm drills were about? Jade Helm simply means army after next. Well, what's that army after next? That's talking about the UN. The UN peacekeepers will come in, because George H.W. Bush made it in his speeches, right? Where by peace we, and we will have it, A new world order shall rise. See, that's the beast in its image right there. That's the new world order, you know, where, you know, they'll have new laws. Hey, Klaus Schwab brags about it, right? And says that 2025 may be that year. Well, that's not too far from now. We're already in September. So, you know, the election happens in November, right? The debates, all that shit's going to happen. So things are going to get even worse, you know. And it's a possibility Biden might step down very shortly here. Because look at what's happening with his son. His son's in trouble. You know, and everything's come home to roost. Everybody knows who's really behind the Nord Stream pipeline, which they threw Ukraine under the bus. They threw Kiev under the bus. So, of course, you know, Ukraine, Kiev, they know that they're not going to get the funding, so they're going to go all out. And like everything else, though, they may just set off a dirty bomb and blame Russia for it. That's all in the making, you know. But like everything else, though, things are going to escalate out there in that Valley of Yehoshaphat as well. You can see that things are, but see, Iran hasn't made their response yet. And like everything else, though, we know that Israeli state will pull the Samson option, and I believe that's what triggers the Damascus event, you know, causing Damascus to cease in that day, is when they do the Samson option and they try to nuke their enemies. Because Damascus, the only thing that can take Damascus away from being a city, it's been conquered many a times. Many armies have come in and taken it, but they never caused it to cease from being a city, would be nuclear destruction. And that nuclear war happens after the MOTB is made mandatory worldwide. And that's not too far from now. 2025 could be that year. We deem this the hopeful year all prophecy come to pass. And we're going to see a lot of things move closer to that as we get closer to the very end of this shit show of an election. You know, we're not consumed by it, but of course we watch things. We're patiently waiting on Yahweh to send Yahushai to destroy this place, you know, at the end of the day, you know, for us finally to receive retribution, because we have received no retribution as of yet. You think that $10 to fix $500 worth of tires really does shit? But that's what Esau's trying to do with these so-called referendum checks. He ain't fucking compensated us for what's happened. You know why? Because he's still living on stolen land. And he has the audacity to call people that come over here illegal. There's no such thing as illegal when you're on stolen land to begin with. You know? But nonetheless, though, you know, he took this with great force, and this place will be, you know, he will go out with great force, you know. And like everything else, though, Yahushai will send the angels and those nuclear weapons to destroy this place. And we don't want to be caught in those judgments. You know, we want to be on the fighting side of Yahushai. We want him to, you know, call us faithful and true. We don't want to be punished with Esau, man. This is a judgment that was meant for the Edomites and for the other heathen nations. It was never meant for the Israelites, but unfortunately, 2/3 decided to go with Esau, Edom. They fell in love with Babylon. They fell in love with Esau, you know. And so they have to be punished, because when the books were open, when the door was open to them, when we came out here to teach, they rejected us. They rejected Yahweh and Yahushai. They rejected the names. They rejected everything about it. So the door was opened up to them. And when they had liberty, they didn't take it. So, you know, judgment is coming for them, you know. But like everything else, though, for us that have gone out there faithfully and did not give up the ship, did not turn away from the plow, there's great reward for us. So we're going to be spared from the destruction. I mean, that's already a reward, but we're also going to receive the kingdom after this one's destroyed. So those are all things to look forward to. So hopefully this has been edifying. For that, I want to say, Braka the Yahweh, Braka the Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash, Wa Abab the Ball. Brakathum to Hophalek. Shalom.